I'm Clark. It's good to be back. I hope everybody is well. Smidgen late today, and I apologize for that. It's so dry. Please let me know if the audio is not so good on this. My last Facebook Live, I realized that after doing it, that the audio was really poor on it. So if you find that the audio is not doing so well, then and let me know, okay? And we'll probably end it and try it again. I hope everybody is well. We are moving through the seasons here today. It's Halloween, so I hope everyone's gonna enjoy that and cheat with your sugar just a tiny bit, but not too much, right? And we finally got our first frost, and this morning, wouldn't you know it, we had a freeze, and so there goes the growing season. The growing season is officially over for 2022, and it was great. Flowers were amazing, and everyone's gardens did really well. So here we go. We're going into the winter, and I think I think the title is preparing for winter. So as you know, I always like to do acupuncture and Chinese medicine, within the first couple weeks of a season's change. And though it's not winter on the calendar date, it is going into winter now, because when you see snow falling and you see freezes and temperatures dipping below freezing, technically it's winter. So here we go into the winter months. And I just kind of wanted to do an overview on things we can do to prepare for winter, and things we can do while we're in winter that make a big difference. So winter in the energetic level. So there's yin and yang, right? And yin tends to be darker and slower and colder, and yang tends to be faster, hotter, brighter, right? So we're moving from yang into yin, and a solid yin. And yin is a time, that yin season, the winter months, is a time of darkness. And it's a time for really reflecting on ourselves. It's a time for going in and building essence, right? It's a time to strengthen ourselves. Animals hibernate. Not all animals. Some mammals, a few of them do hibernate, but generally it's more about survival, right? It's not about having babies. It's not about frolicking in the fields of flowers. It's about surviving, right? So this is when we start to increase our fat levels, right? So eat lots of fat. And we'll touch on that in a little bit. So as we move into winter, it's really important to kind of set some time aside for ourselves, a time to reflect, and a time to meditate, right? It's a very quiet time. We're indoors a lot. I mean, it's so dark in the morning now, right? I mean, we're still cruising through our day, but our biology is sensing the darkness, and so we need to acknowledge that. Um, so yeah, here comes the time of yin, and it's important to try to eat higher fat foods. You should always eat higher fat foods anyways, but during the winter, you really want to focus on eating lots of fatty foods. And in the summer, everything's kind of big and expansive, because warmth does that. But in the summer, but in the winter, everything kind of contracts a little bit and is smaller. It's huddled together, and so it's these winter months that are so important in trying to uh, get inflammation under control. It's hard. Inflammation is bad enough, but it's really difficult to get it under control when you're in the yang season, the warm seasons of summer, and that's difficult. But in the winter, when things are starting to shrink and contract a little bit, inflammation is much easier to maintain. So, and we've talked a little bit about the best ways to maintain your inflammation, but it's the winter months that you really get a hold of it and really hit it hard. And some of the best ways to do that are a meat-based diet, and trying to cut out all carbs and plants that are going to cause inflammation. So keep that in mind. And I recommend that during these colder months, You simply just live simply, eat simply, cook simply, you know, cook high fat foods, cook your meats, um, make your stews, eat warm foods, try to stay away from the very cold foods, right? We do that anyways in Chinese medicine. We try to stay away from the very cold foods. So this is when you want to try to cook warm, not deep fried, but fried like in a pan, um, you know, glazed a little bit. And what that's going to do is it's going to nourish your soul, first of all, with the warmth and the solid food. But two, it's going to help the inflammation go away quite rapidly. And it'll be a little while before we hit spring, but and spring's the time of the liver, right? And that's when we will cleanse the liver from all the heavy fatty foods. But winter is the time to get that inflammation under control. It's also the time of the kidneys, and the kidneys are our battery packs in our body. So we have two of them, and that's kind of what keeps us solid and strong. If our kidney energy is healthy and good and strong, we don't have a cough. Our breath is anchored. If our kidneys are weak, we tend to fall into illness much quicker with a cough, and we don't want to do that. So keeping our kidneys strong, keeping them warm. In other parts of the world, they wear a scarf around their neck, but they also wear it around their kidneys. So don't be afraid, to keep your kidney energy warm by putting a scarf on your lower back under your jacket when you go out. It's common in other places in the world. It just isn't common here. But I do encourage that. You want to keep the wind out, right? I don't know if it's been windy where you guys live, but here it has been so incredibly windy. And keeping that wind out so it doesn't zap your kidney energy is super duper important. And so maintaining your warmth and fighting inflammation is kind of your big thing over the next few months as we go into winter. But on top of it, you need to focus on yourself. You need to go in deep. Winter's a time of reflection, right? And I've often said it in the past, and it's kind of funny, but my favorite thing to do in the winter when it snows is just watch snow accumulate, and especially on trees. And there's something very meditative about that for me, very calming. And it's that kind of energy. It's that kind of you need to just slow down, slow your mind, slow your spirit, slow your energy down during those months. And because once spring comes and summer comes, you're just going to explode, right? Everything, you're going to shoot out of the ground. Like that's what sprouts do. Trees bud, grasses come up. But we also do too, spiritually and energetically. So we just need to make sure that we're keeping ourselves as calm and relaxed as possible. Let's see. Fasting. Talk about fasting a little bit. Don't be afraid to fast, right? If we're eating high-fat food and dense meats, we don't need to eat all the time because we're getting everything we need in those meals. So I encourage people to skip a meal from time to time or eat less during this period and nourish all that essence that you're getting from your high-fat diet. So don't be afraid to fast, be it a day fast or be it half a day fast if you can. What that does is it does a few things. It allows your insulin levels, your blood sugar levels to go back down to a normal level. And it gives your digestive tract a big break. Our poor digestive tracts are just going 24 hours a day. And they really shouldn't, right? And they really shouldn't. So in a modern world, in a modern society, we don't necessarily have a modern physiology, right? And that's part of the reason why we have so much illness and disease in the world is because our bodies are designed for a very essentially primitive lifestyle. But that is not what we do at all. We are going 100 miles an hour. We're crashing through life. We're eating fast food, and our bodies pay for it. And so it's important to to slow down and live simply. And again, especially in the winter months, because if you are going hard all winter, your kidneys are being tapped in a way that they need to be replenished energetically through meditation and diet. But if we're going hard all winter and we're not giving ourselves downtime and we're not eating accordingly, that next season we're going to have real problems. We're not going to do well with the cycle change, the change of the seasons, and the change of the organ systems that are predominant in that season. So it's really important to listen to yourself now during the winter. And funny as it is, we have all these major holidays in the winter months, and it's so hard, right? It's so hard to navigate through there. And I just ask that you just do your best, right? And don't beat yourself up if you have pumpkin pie, right? Don't beat yourself up if you have some candy at Halloween or some cookies at Christmas. Don't beat yourself up, because we're doing our best. And if you can change your lifestyle and change your diet, even minimally, it's better than it was previously. And often what happens is people start to see beneficial changes in their health and in their fertility especially, and they tend to stick with that, and they don't go back to that unhealthy lifestyle. Let's see. And again, if my sound is horrible, let me know. I apologize. I just have some crib notes here to make sure I try to go over everything. All right, so meditate a little bit. Eat high-fat food. Don't forget to fast. Nourish those kidneys. Embrace the darkness, right? Embrace the yin. Embrace the soft. Embrace the quiet, and it will benefit you further into the seasons and the years as we go forward. Thank you for your time. I hope this helps. Text me, set up an appointment, and we can chat. Thank you.